Here at Team TripleJump, we can't get enough of games consoles. Though most of us tend to favour one console over the rest, we're still more than happy to pick up and play whatever is on offer, be it Sony, Microsoft or Nintendo, if it means that we get to play some sweet video games. However, not all consoles are created in equal numbers, and although we joke about the PS5 being harder to obtain than rocking horse poop, in the grand scheme of things, they're actually very common. Some console variants are so scarce, in fact, that unless you were lucky enough to win them in a contest or have thousands of dollarydoos to spend at an auction, then you've got absolutely no chance of getting your mitts on one. For this list, we've plumbed the depths of consolevariations.com to bring you 10 of the hardest to find special edition consoles. There are several factors that contribute to a console's rarity, including how many were made, how many people want one, and how difficult they are to obtain today. I'm Ben from TripleJump, and here are 10 of the rarest special edition consoles. Number 10. Sony PlayStation 5 Spider-Man Miles Morales console. When it was released in November 2020, critics and players alike were wowed by Spider-Man Miles Morales. The game follows the titular Marvel character as he struggles to balance his role as the second Spider-Man with all of the trials and tribulations of being a teenager. For fans in Luxembourg, however, the Miles Morales fun didn't have to stop once they'd turned off their consoles, as artist Vadu Amka created a PlayStation 5 variant that allowed players to display their love for the game around the clock. The PlayStation 5 Spider-Man Miles Morales console was created especially for the Saturn chain of electronics stores and was given away as part of a competition at the Luxembourg City branch back in 2021. The black console is emblazoned with the spider design from Morales' costume as well as silver spider webs, and comes with a matching controller sporting the game's logo. It isn't clear exactly how many were made, but estimates reckon that there are anywhere up to 50 of these ultra-stylish machines in existence. That might not make them the absolute hardest console edition to come by, but it still makes them rare enough that you wouldn't want to go hitting them with a rolled up newspaper, because, you know, they're spiders and stuff. Number 9. Sony PSP 3000 Green Lantern console. In 2011, Ryan Reynolds committed a film felony when he starred in the abomination that was Green Lantern. Fortunately, there is a ton of other Green Lantern media out there that isn't completely egregious, including 2009's Green Lantern First Flight. The straight-to-DVD animated movie starred the likes of Christopher Maloney, Victor Garber, and Michael Madsen, and focused on the first mission undertaken by Hal Jordan after being the first human inducted into the Green Lantern Corps. Excuse me, Ben, I assume you're probably saying to the screen. This is all well and good, but I thought this was a video about rare consoles. Why are you telling me about Green Lantern movies? Patience, young grasshopper, I'm getting to that part. As with most things that attain a modicum of success, Green Lantern First Flight spawned a whole bunch of merchandise, including a highly uncommon PSP. The handheld console looked fairly normal from the front, but was bright green on the back and sported the Green Lantern First Flight logo and a picture of the superhero himself. The console was given away to lucky fans at Comic-Con 2009, and it's estimated that there are less than 50 in existence, so if you find one hiding in your garage, it might just be worth a penny or two. Number 8. Nintendo Switch Avicii console. The world was shocked in 2018 to hear of the passing of Swedish music star Avicii, the DJ and music producer who had dominated the airwaves throughout the 2010s and looked to have an incredible career ahead of him. His tragic and sudden death left a number of his projects unfinished, including Avicii Invector, a music game that would see players journeying across a number of different worlds whilst matching the beats of several of Avicii's songs. Fortunately, Hello There Games and Wired Productions pressed on with the game in his memory, and it finally hit stores in 2019. In order to celebrate the game's release on the Switch a year later, 5 special edition Switch Lite consoles were created and offered as prizes by EDM.com. The custom-painted white Switch Lites featured the game's logo on the back, along with a depiction of Avicii himself. Only 5 of the consoles were created, with one going to mental health charity Safe in Our World. The charity raffled off the console in order to raise money to support those with mental health issues, which I think we can all agree is a great cause and serves as a fitting tribute to the late star. Number 7. Nintendo DS Electroplankton console. We're sticking with the music theme for the time being as we take a look back at the Nintendo DS Electroplankton Edition, a variation of the DS console that so many of us loved as youngsters. If you're unfamiliar with Electroplankton, then allow me to break it down for you. Originally released in Japan in 2005 and North America and Europe in 2006, Electroplankton allowed players to interact with little animated plankton through the use of the DS stylus, touchscreen, and microphone. It was a bit of a bizarre game, but thanks to its music and art style, it had a lot of charm. In order to promote Electroplankton, Nintendo opened an exhibit in Tokyo's Harajuku Fashion Center, which focused on the game itself as well as the other creations of director Toshio Iwai. As part of the exhibit, fans could enter a prize draw to win one of 10 special DS consoles, which were each a pleasant shade of pastel pink and were emblazoned with the Electroplankton logo. They're perhaps not the most outlandish special edition we've ever seen, but if you happen to own one, they're probably worth their weight in gold. A similar console designed by Hawaii and covered in small holes was also on display, but sadly, or not depending on whether you're one of those folks with trypophobia, fans were unable to take that one home. Number 6. Sony PlayStation 5 Dominoes console. You know what gamers love? Video games, obviously, but do you know what else many gamers love? Deliciously greasy takeaways comprised of dough, tomato sauce, cheese, and a variety of toppings of their choice. If you're looking for a way to combine your love of digital entertainment and mouth and or bum-watering carbohydrates, then you need look no further than the Sony PlayStation 5 Dominoes console. This one-of-a-kind, cheesy monstrosity was offered as part of the chain's World Pizza Day 2021 celebrations. In order to enter the sweepstakes, fans simply needed to like the Dominoes Australia Facebook page, follow their Instagram, tag a couple of their mates, and tell the company what their favourite pizza to order while gaming was. Of course, the correct answer is not ordering pizza whilst gaming because you'll get grease all over your expensive controller, but never mind. The winner of the contest won a custom-wrapped PS5 which sported an incredibly tasteful pepperoni design along with a matching custom-wrapped controller. It's not exactly the most aesthetically pleasing console in the world, but considering that PS5s are still nearly impossible to get your hands on, we guess it's better than not having one at all. Only marginally, but still. Number 5. Microsoft Xbox One S Sprite console. You can't have a takeaway without a cool, refreshing beverage to wash it all down now, can you? Indeed, if you're the sort of person that can't get enough of food-themed electronics, then you'd definitely have wanted to enter the Summer Sprite Cold Lyrics sweepstake back in 2017. There were a number of different prizes on offer to those who bought one of the special edition drinks, including instant cameras, Bluetooth speakers, drones, and of course, this bright green, Sprite-branded Xbox One S. On a technical level, the console was identical to every other One S, but instead of the standard white, the console was Sprite bottle green, sported a load of Sprite logos, and had a sound mixer design around the disc tray. It also came with a matching controller because it would have been a travesty if your peripherals didn't match. The Sprite console was only produced for this one event, and only 14 were ever manufactured. Clearly, one winner wasn't a fan though, because one of the consoles appeared on eBay in November 2017, selling for $1,000. In fairness, money could buy you a whole new console and a boatload of games, plus you have the added bonus of it not looking like this. Number 4. Microsoft Xbox One Mother of Pearl console. If you like gaming but feel like modern consoles just aren't classy or elegant enough, then you should feast your eyes on the Microsoft Xbox One Mother of Pearl console, a machine that tells the world that you like Halo, but you also like afternoon tea as well. Oh, cucumber sandwiches, yes please. These gorgeous consoles are hand-engraved with an intricate mother-of-pearl design inspired by traditional Korean art. The top and front panels are inlaid with highly detailed depictions of leaves, flowers, and butterflies, transforming the usually plain, boxy console into something truly mesmerizing. If you're thinking of trying to get your hands on one though, we're here to shatter your hopes and dreams, as 2 were ever made, which is unsurprising considering the amount of work that must have gone into creating them. The consoles were given away by Microsoft Korea to 2 lucky winners, one of whom was YouTuber BDC, who unboxed it on his channel. However, this isn't the first time that Microsoft has dabbled in super fancy consoles, as in 2008, Bill Gates commissioned several mother-of-pearl Xbox 360s, one of which was gifted to South Korea's then president. Let's just hope it didn't get the red ring of death, those colours would have clashed horribly. Number 3. Nintendo Game Boy Advance SP 24-karat gold console. If Mother of Pearl just isn't bougie enough for you, then allow me to direct your attention to the Nintendo Game Boy Advance SP 24-karat gold console, a machine that just screams sophistication. It seems that Nintendo went full-on Willy Wonka for the release of The Legend of Zelda: The Minish Cap, as they decided to include golden tickets with a handful of the games. If you were lucky enough to find one of said coupons, you won a Game Boy Advance SP that was plated in 24-karat gold. The only difference between it and the standard SP was the fact that it was super shiny and opened its owners up to muggings. Well, there's more likelihood of being mugged at least. For the longest time, images of the consoles failed to surface, leading people to suspect that they'd never actually been made, but that rumour was put to bed a few years ago when photos of it started appearing online. According to Twitter user LSupersonic-Q, the 2 owners that have come forward didn't actually win the golden SPs in the contest and instead acquired them by other means, with one coming from eBay and the other from elsewhere. It says, we just hope that elsewhere isn't some code for I mugged a bloke for it. Number 2. Microsoft Xbox Series S Sonic 2 console. Games consoles are great, but if there's one thing that would make them even better, it's faux fur. Stop. Why are you laughing? Clearly, the good folks over at Microsoft share my vision for a fuzzier world as they came up with the Xbox Series S Sonic 2 console, a device that's bonkers and brilliant in equal measure. Please do not play pizza around this one. The actual console unit was fairly standard promotional fare. The Series S was painted black, accented with a big gold ring around the vent, and had Sonic and Knuckles' face plastered all over it. Nothing too exciting there. Somewhat bizarrely though, the console came with two controllers, one red and one blue, that some genius decided to make furry. Yes, you heard that right. These special edition controllers were almost completely covered in fur. Whilst we don't doubt that they'd be comfortable to hold and would make for quite the talking point when you have guests over, we do have to question the practicality. Clammy hands are a real problem when gaming, and we can't imagine anything more disgusting than a sweaty, furry controller. Alas, we'll never have to worry about any of that because there's only one in existence, and we forgot to enter the sweepstake. Number 1. Sega Game Gear Gold and Diamonds console. We come now to a console that actually wasn't that difficult to get your hands on at the time it was released. There were no competitions or sweepstakes. These things were literally just on sale. The catch? They cost £55,000. Indeed, the Sega Game Gear Gold and Diamonds console was marketed as the ultimate present for the children of the super rich and was covered with 800 grams of gold and 46 carats of diamond. Jesus. Anyone stupid enough, minted enough, could get their hands on one of these bad boys courtesy of David Morris International, but although the consoles did come with batteries included, they didn't come with any games. I mean, if you're willing to drop 55 big ones on a gold-plated Game Gear, then a few extra quid for Sonic the Hedgehog is neither here nor there, really, is it? So exactly how rare is the Golden Diamonds Game Gear? Well, it's estimated that only around 50 were produced, though it's unclear if anyone was bonkers enough to actually buy one. Considering that, when adjusting for inflation, the handheld console cost the best part of £120,000, or $147,000 if you want to get American about this, then there's little wonder we haven't seen one down at our local CEX.